fights back in the day.
Why? Because he just posed on the ramp.
Yeah, but you had to have fun doing that. You couldn't.
That is
I've never
awful.
seen him after doing that not smile. But maybe that's because he's good at his gimmick, I guess.
That is awful.
And
That's a
hello
horrible
there,
pose,
everyone. It is raining currently in the state of Virginia, and I'm going to stream some Mortal Kombat.
It is not raining here.
There's Brad's favor right there.
Oh, that's because you're not. That's because you don't have Milli Vanilli near you.
Oh, and that.
Yeah, I know. Bad joke.
Go on and
Bad joke.
Go back to your shtick there, Doug.
Don't blame it on the rain.
You want that TNA tires.
No, I don't
First,
want
we're gonna do the
TNA
River of Blood. Ironically
It's
enough, it is called It's Raining Blood.
With that one.
Spot.
I don't want Joker's thing. It's like the worst thing.
And of course, if you can't figure it out by now, because if you're new to this channel, we have Fire Ninja, aka Chimera Gaming, and we have everyone's favorite Canadian. No, not Lance Storm. You know, I wish I could get him on here. It is Heartless.
I hate you all.
Go watch some Canadian Football League. You'll be better.
I hate the CFL. That's like the worst football
I
ever.
actually watch the CFL every Friday night.
That's the worst football ever.
No, I could think of something far worse than that. If
I would rather watch fucking golf.
You
must on Novocaine.
You must not remember the NFL European League.
Off of Charlotte than fucking watch the CFL.
Again, you must not remember this the NFL European League or the final year of the USFL.
I do remember it, but I never watched it because why would I put any effort into a stupid league? That's like trying to remember the XFL. And does anybody even remember the XFL? Oh,
yes.
They had cheerleaders. Okay, that's cool.
I actually,
the winner at the end of the
season watched the first season, and I actually had my mom bought me one of the teddy bear things that came that you could buy for it. I was actually cheering for the Chicago team because Dallas did not have one.
But my point is, no one who likes a certain sport is going to support an offshoot of a bad
Here's the thing, though.
Idea.
If you look at it,
like, okay, hold on.
No.
Let me cut you off.
You're saying this towards bad sports, but I'm about to prove your point wrong. Some of the stuff the NFL took from the XFL, like the camera work and everything, yeah, NFL took that. And let's not forget, Kurt Warner and Warren Moon both played in the CFL. So if you're going to say the CFL sucks, let me finish. If you're going to say the CFL sucks, then you have to say every player sucks, which means Warren Moon sucks, who's in the Hall of Fame, by the way, and Kurt Warner sucks, who's also in the Hall of Fame. So you can't say a league sucks when it's produced Hall of Fame.
Joke.
Not the NFL Hall of Fame.
Every Hall of Fame is a fucking joke.
No, the NFL one's one. No.
Every sports Hall of Fame is a fucking joke.
No, the WWE one is, but not the NFL one. Not Major League Baseball. Granted, that one's becoming a joke with the keep letting steroid users in. The hockey one's not a joke.
Okay, so you say Warren Moon is in the Hall of Fame for what?
Yeah. Being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
How many Super Bowl rings does he have?
I've said before, championships are nice and all, but rings don't really matter too much. Particularly in this day and age where the rules are soft.
Okay, regardless, how many championships does he have?
I don't think
NFL.
NFL, I think one.
Okay, so one. And how many quarterback awards or MVPs has he had, or how many touchdowns has he thrown for?
MVP awards, I dispute those because of the fact that we've seen where the best player may have not have gotten it. It usually goes to the quarterback with the best record, usually, or the best running back on the best team. So MVPs I kind of dispute. Because I've seen people who shouldn't have got the MVP award for whatever, and then there's people who got an award at the end of the season who deserved it. But then yet again, you had RG3 win Rookie of the Year when he should have not have won it. Should have went to Andrew Luck, but they were saying, well, Andrew Luck threw more interceptions. But at the same time, he had a terrible offensive line. Which people forget that during that rookie year.
Heartless, that's what you want.
No, I don't want that.
You don't
So,
want
so
turnbuckle?
let me just interject a couple points here. So, bad offshoots. Another one is Disneyland UK.
I didn't really know there was a Disney UK, but then yet again, I don't live in
Oh,
London.
it closed after a month. It closed after a month.
Well, because you put it in London. London's a gloomy place. The only thing London cares about is Sherlock Holmes and fucking werewolves. Or the Hounds of Bakersfield, to be more specific.
So point number two, regardless of a quarterback having a bad offensive line, if you are going to go best rookie of the year for certain of a quarterback, you look at his completions. You look at how many yards he's thrown. You look at how many yards rushing
Well,
he's
here's the
done.
thing with that, though.
These
If
are
you look at
factors that
that,
should be factored in, and how many games
Andrew
that he's
Luck
won.
led every category in those but two. The wins, and he did not have the better winning record, and he did throw more interceptions than RG3, but look at RG3's division. You had the Giants who were doing terrible that year, the Eagles who were doing average, and the Cowboys that year, we sucked. But
Okay.
on the flip side of that, if you look at Andrew Luck with the worst offensive line, which even people who voted said Luck had to do more than RG3 because of the bad offensive line, had to play the Texans with that great defense. Jacksonville's defense was decent, and Tennessee, average. So he had to face division rivals that were better that year than RG3 did, plus RG3 actually had an offensive line that could help him. Andrew Luck did not. And Andrew Luck had a better completion rating until you count those interceptions he threw. He threw more interceptions. Flip side of that, RG3 would run more than pass. Which is why, ironically enough, RG3 is not even playing as a starter in the league anymore. But Andrew Luck is still a starter.
You're winning the argument for me by talking about how certain awards are being awarded to different people. So why shouldn't I feel the same way about the Hall of Fame?
If you're going to say that the Hall of Fame's a joke, then you have to admit Dan Marino's a joke, because he's never won a Super Bowl.
He is a joke.
Then you just proved you're an idiot. Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. It's not his fault he couldn't win a ring.
Did I stop?
Well, you just said he's a joke, so anything you have to say to that, your argument's
He is
mute, because
still
you
a
just
joke,
said... How is he a joke when he's one of the greatest quarterbacks?
You're not gonna let me finish here, are you?
Because you're going to come up with some cockamamie stupid reason, so give me your cockamamie stupid reason.
No, I don't have cockamamie stupid reasons. You can be a joke and still have valued statistics, because if you look at his statistics, he's had higher, trying to remember what one is his stats. Doesn't have a lot of wins, but for how many years he's been in the league, he's had it's quite respectable figures. I believe it's pass completions. I think he's got one of the record-leading ones, if I'm not mistaken. Or if it's touchdowns. It's one of those two stat fields. I'd have to look it up. But you could be a joke like Dan Marino and still earn your spot.
He just disrespected one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play the game back when the Wolves were actually favored for the defense, not the offense.
Fan. I was never a Dan Marino fan.
I wasn't a Dolphins fan either, but I still show respect to the players who actually deserve it. And don't say you respect a player who you just said was trash, because then that's being a hypocrite. You can't have it both ways.
I didn't say he was trash. I said he was a joke. There's a difference.
Joke? No, a joke to me is still calling somebody trash at the end of the day.
No.
Yeah.
You're misconstruing what I'm saying.
No. If you're going to call somebody a joke, to me that means they're trash in your eyes.
No, they're a joke.
No, to me,
if I said
it's different. No, joke and trash are the same thing to me. If you're going to call somebody a joke or joke, that means they're trash to you. That means they're not good.
Can I interject here?
Yes, fine, Ninja.
That is in your eyes.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people who would agree with me on that.
But people have different meanings for different things.
I'm sorry, I just can't see where you're gonna say a guy's a joke, but he's not trash. That doesn't make sense to me. That'd be like saying, well, he's not great, but, you know, he wasn't bad either. I'm like, you can't be on the fence. He's either good or bad.
You were the first Sub-Zero.
Round one, fight!
Where's the sun?
And it all goes quiet for a while. And good night, Kato Khan.
Fatality. Noob Saibot wins.
Of course, I know some people are like, why am I not watching Slammiversary? I actually have that DVRing, and I will be watching it after the pay-per-view's done. I'm avoiding Twitter like the plague tonight. And I'm surprised, 5 I thought you'd be doing Use Your Words tonight.
Why?
Because you did it last week, since I can't do it till probably next Sunday, when I may have a chance to actually get it installed.
Noob Saibot.
There's the problem, though.
And that would be?
There are quite a few missing people.
Let's see, 45, Moth, Wicked.
Where do you see Johnny? Where do you see Wicked? Nowhere.
They may not be home. Maybe they actually went out of their house today.
But that's my point.
I see you guys are doing the WWE thing, getting ready for your universe matches, I guess. And Kano's pissing on the WWE writing.
What are you, the
Hey,
Prince
you'll
of
defend
Darkness?
TNA's writing to the end of the earth.
Some of their writing this year has been better than WWE's. I will be honest, if I had to choose between this storyline with Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans versus Seth and Becky, or Michael Elgin versus Brian Cage, I would take the Elgin and Cage. Just because at least that title match is not some cockamamie mixed tag team bullshit. And at least TNA cares about its X Division / Cruiserweight guys, unlike WWE.
Round one, fight!
But I will say this much, and I'm kind of hoping it happens just because then it would be the official burial of Baron Corbin. Have him tap out to Becky Lynch. You know, we'll just complete the burial.
I reckon like Baron Corbin actually had potential.
Oh, I know he doesn't, but you know Vince sees it. For whatever, I don't know what his potential would be in Vince's eyes.
Too slow.
Noob Saibot gets another win for the core.
One of Doug's all-time great wrestlers right there.
Noob Saibot wins.
Let's
James
see.
Ellsworth.
You know, I don't know what he did exactly since I don't really care about him, but he was a good heel. He got people that
No, he
hate him.
wasn't.
Well, he actually got boos, which apparently that's hard to do in WWE's right now.
Do you remember how he got booze?
If I remember correctly, I believe he betrayed AJ. He turned heel on AJ Styles. That's that's the only reason I can think of, unless he did something out of the ring that I don't know about.
Who won the first Women's Money in the Bank?
Okay, I'm not counting that because that was just stupid. That was more stupid boos, not turn heel boos.
Still a reason.
Not a great one. That was, I wouldn't booed him for that. I would have been booing the freaking writers or whoever booked that. That's the one thing I don't get. WWE fans won't boo Vince when he or whoever the head booker is for or writer is for Raw or SmackDown. But damn if TNA fans didn't do that when Vince Russo did stupid shit. It's like WWE fan, and I'm not counting you or Heartless or me in this, but there are some legit diehard WWE marks who will be like, I think I had one talk to me this morning on Twitter saying, Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch will be a 5-star match. I didn't know if I wanted to. I didn't know. My comment was, do you need to be locked up in the insane asylum with Daphne and Crowbar? And then he said, who's Crowbar and Daphne? I'm like, you must be young.
The answer is just no to that.
Now, if he would have said AJ versus Ricochet, I could believe that. Depending how they book the ending. Do I have any? Yes, I do. Let me use that. Oh, new skin for the collector. That's nice. And question of the video, guys, and this is actually going to be a wrestling related one. Who is your favorite big guy slash horse wrestler? What I mean by that is a guy who is big, muscular, overweight, a guy who would probably better be belonging in a ball fight or a fist fight, a guy you're probably not going to get any technical wrestling, but you know he's going to probably beat the fuck out of you.
I know yours and I know Brad's.
Okay, what would Brad's be?
Jinder Mahal.
I wouldn't consider him a horse. Well, wait a minute. He did get very muscular. Granted, I didn't even have him in my mind. I had other people in my head.
Still counts.
It still counts, yeah, but I think if Brad was... I hope Brad wouldn't have picked that, because if he did, I'd have to be like, out of all the big horse guys that have been in wrestling, you picked Jinder Mahal, really? Not Stan Hansen, not Vader, not Animal or Hulk.
Okay, I know what two, since I don't know which you would pick over the other. Probably either be Vader or Dan the Beast Severn.
Oh, God. That's a hard one, because Vader's more of a horse, because Dan the Beast 7 actually knew how to wrestle, and there were people deadly afraid of him. But the problem was he was booked so badly in the WWE. Which is somewhat ironic when they booked Ken Shamrock decently. I would have just loved to see Shamrock and Dan the Beast just go off script once. That would have been fucking hilarious. But I'd probably go with Vader. Vader is my favorite big man of all time. Still disappoints me how he was booked in the in WWE, but because it's even sadder when you think about Vader's a multi-time U.S. and World Heavyweight Champion in WCW, and had titles in Japan, but WWE, I don't think they knew how to book him. Granted, then you had to worry about Shawn Michaels' influence at the time.
I just realized something that's ironic.
What?
I have quite a few of your favorites. Let's see, I have Miz.
Yeah, I've said before, Miz.
I have Severn.
Dan the If I was in that universe, I'd be like, okay, Miz is going to lead a faction, Dan the Beast 7's going to be the enforcer of the group.
Good thing you're not booking.
No. Well, Hollis, who's your favorite big guy / horse wrestler? Or did Heartless go take a smoke break?
I have no idea.
Alright, what about you then, since I know you know some horse wrestlers like...
Monsters fall upon that category too, right?
Yeah, I said big guys, horses, monster type wrestlers. I'm gonna go to the training mode and do some stuff and get some costumes for some characters while we ponder this.
Mike Hagar.
He wasn't a real wrestler.
He was in a wrestling video game.
I meant in wrestling, real life wrestling, not a video game.
I don't want to say Taker.
Okay, I'm back.
Not a bad
Up
choice.
to a certain point.
Alright, since Heartless is back, we'll ask him the question of the video. Who is your favorite big guy / horse wrestler or monster character in wrestling? My pick was Vader. Obviously, anybody who knows me knows I was a Vader guy as a kid.
I already answered for Brad because I knew what
Yeah, you
Brad
said
probably
Brad
would
would
have
say
picked.
Jinder Mahal, which I hate saying it. You're probably right.
So we're talking about big guys? Is that what we're talking about?
Big
Yeah.
guys, horse wrestlers, monster guys. Guys you know who couldn't really wrestle, But if you were seeing him on the schedule, you were like, oh fuck, I'm in for a rough night. As people who said they faced Legion of Doom when they saw the name against Legion of Doom, they were like, as Jim Cornette put it, well, we're gonna get our asses kicked tonight.
So, but is the question for me as a fan watching,
As a fan of who?
origin of oh, had some decent backbreaking moves that were pretty good for the time period. You didn't see that often until the World Cup. Guys who get stiff and you're like, oh crap, this guy's gonna hurt me. I always thought Nikita Koloff was really stiff, and when he wrestled, it looked like he was gonna knock someone's head right off his shoulders. Kind of like how Cesaro does his European uppercuts.
Yeah,
Like,
I know what you mean by that, because I've
never got over it. Like, he had a gimmick. He was Russian. He was good as a heel, and when they turned him babyface, I'm surprised it didn't catch fire, because they even teamed him up with Sting.
and Dusty, I
He
remember
had
he
a lot
teamed
of
up
good,
with.
yep, a lot of good feuds for that TV title and the United States
Oh
title.
yeah, God, I remember his feud with Luger,
But
and it's the only time I will say this. As a kid, it was the only time I
wanted Luger
actually
to
cheered.
lose?
I wanted Luger to win. It was the only time I wanted Luger to win.
Oh,
The
because he
only,
was Russian, yes.
yeah, you know, looking back then, yeah, I would have been pro Luger. Now, I would have been cheering for the Russian. But as I've said
I
before,
was
when we're
always a big
kids,
pusher of. I was always a big Bobby. I was always the guy who Heenan liked. I would always.
you and me would have got along as kids, because I had.
If Heenan and Mr. Perfect, whoever they chose, even whoever Jesse used to pick, I was like, yep, that's my pick. That's my pick.
Usually same here, and
But
because I was that
Heenan,
weird kid in high school that had the, well, not high school, elementary school, that had the Bobby the Brain Heenan lunchbox.
oh, Bobby should have gone into the Hall of Fame years ago. He never got the credit that he deserved.
No, he did not. He never. One of the greatest managers and one of the greatest commentators. I still say this. That Royal Rumble of the year that Ric Flair won the belt. As much as I love that Rumble, I've said it. That Rumble wouldn't be nearly as remembered if it wasn't for the commentating by Gorilla and Bobby Heenan.
Oh,
Because
Gorilla. You could put Gorilla with a roll of Scotch tape and it would have been the best commentating ever known.
yeah, I mean, no disrespect to
Gorilla was
JR and
without
the
a doubt.
King, but I will always prefer Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon.
That's who you want, right?
What, Rockstar Spud?
Yeah.
No.
You
I
know,
hated Rockstar Spud. I never liked the gimmick.
Yeah,
I
the gimmick was
respected him in the
stupid.
ring, but I didn't like the gimmick.
That was a guy who, because I remember watching him in TNA, I loved his in-ring work. I was like, you know, this guy's actually entertaining to watch. But his gimmick was just so fucking dumb.
Because he wasn't even a rock star. He was just like, call me Rockstar Spud, but I'm not a rock star at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Plus, then always
oh,
kissing up to the Carters.
I know who I'm signing, and Doug doesn't know who this guy is. But this is the guy who air guitar is coming down to the ring. I'm trying to remember his name now. Oh,
I think I know who it is. Wasn't he like a big guy? He was mostly on Superstars back in the day, Man Mountain Rock or something.
No. This guy's current. This is the current.
Oh, current. Okay, I was thinking of.
Current.
Shows you what I was thinking. I was going back to the 90s again.
I gotta look up WWE employees here. Hold on, give me a second here. He's got like a weird name, and if I don't tell you how to spell it, you're never gonna find him. Oh, speaking of Vladimir Kozlov, that doesn't look like him. But we weren't talking about him, we were talking about Nikita Koloff. And it's even spelled wrong. That was bad. I know. Roster here, NXT. Rusev is not in NXT. 205.
How would you slow your hammer away, Shao Kahn?
And he has a weird name. Or did they change his name? If they change his name, I'll be so pissed.
Well, they always change names for some reason.
Oh, they've been changing people's names recently.
We completed the tutorial for Shao Kahn, so we get the one true Kahn costume. Yeah, because I know they signed one guy to NXT. I don't know if he's appeared yet on the NXT roster or not, but I remember him in Impact when he was dressed in all black, had the black gloves, and his one major storyline was he was stalking Christy Hemme.
Oh yeah, they signed him. The guy who had the Dexter gimmick. Yeah, he's in
Yeah, I was
the
like,
the TNA tournament, the breakout tournament there.
yeah, I was like,
TNA tournament. They call it TNA guys.
yeah, because when somebody
There
showed
you
me a
go, that's who
picture
you
of him,
want.
and I was like, what the fuck? He's still wrestling?
Yeah, he didn't really have. He was away from wrestling for a while, but no, I don't want Justin Credible. I hate
You
him.
know, and that brings me to a point, guys who do leave wrestling and come back. There's one guy, and I told people this. If anybody ever got
That's not
screwed
accurate
in the
at all.
last decade, and a lot of people don't like me for saying this, but you know, like the Muhammad Hassan, I'm like, you know, talk about a guy who got screwed.
Bugenhagen.
Who?
Eric Bugenhagen. I will send a video so you guys know what the hell I'm talking about. Let's see if this video actually loads. That's a challenge.
To be here on NXT TV, making my debut, it's exhilarating. I've been waiting for this since the moment I arrived at NXT.
That is a terrible Albert.
Did he? It looks like he made his debut for 4 months ago.
But what I'm going to be able to bring to the fans here, Full Sail, the entire WWE universe, is an entertainer like they've never seen.
I don't want to hear an interview from you. I want to see the entrance.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to the entrance.
Because his entrance is like, it's basically Tanahashi's entrance. But like he's like the new jobber for the stars in NXT.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
The
that if you
longest
can
time
actually
there
do.
was-
I've said before, a great wrestler can actually make anyone look good as a jobber. A.K.A. Brooklyn Brawler comes to
No, but
mind.
like there's a difference for jobbers from the stars and someone who makes you look like a main eventer.
Oh yeah.
There you
This
go. If I
guy's-
got Jason, I could do that.
Oh god, I do see where he comes out doing the guitar and he looks like he's playing drums now. Another guy who has fun with his entrance.
And he does a whole post match of doing that.
Yeah, I see the video on WWE from 4 months ago. Rocks NXT with an energetic encore.
But he's not a good talker at all. So let's. just
Yeah, I could
skip
hear
him
that a
and
bit.
he
I
doesn't
was
get
hearing
that.
that. I'm like, dude, this guy cannot talk.
Oh, there's one of Doug's favorites right
And now
there.
he's playing the piano on
Okay,
ropes.
we were talking about Hall of Fame, so let's talk about Hall of Fames here. Specifically the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, you have a entertainment wing, which is fine. You can put anyone you want in there.
Yeah.
Okay? And then you have your actual legit Hall of Fame. So, of all people, why would you, aside from the fact that he was with the company for years and had popularity but didn't achieve anything, why did Coco go into the Hall of Fame?
That
And
is
if
one of those
so-
mysterious
And
questions.
if so,
'Cause
if you are going to put him in the Hall of Fame, why didn't you put him in the Hall of Fame when no one gave a shit about the Hall of Fame?
yeah, because I'm like, you know, I'm honest. The only thing I remember Coco be well for, if anything, are two things: his entrance, theme
Teaming up with Owen
song.
Hart?
Well, yeah, the one that Owen Hart would get, and B, his song and the song "Power Driver." That's the only two things I remember him. I don't remember him winning any titles. I don't remember
the
him
greatest
actually being in
wrestler
good
right there.
feuds or anything like that.
He was an opener. He was never a main eventer.
Yeah.
He was never even a
Well,
late.
ironically
mid-
enough, you say he's not main event. He actually did main event, like, I think the second Survivor Series, I think. Granted, he was
Yeah,
the
but it was
first. I think it
probably a
was the
tag
first.
match, right?
Yeah, it was him, Hillbilly Jim, Hercules, Savage, and Hogan versus the Twin
but
Towers
that
and those
doesn't-
three guys. But yeah, that I don't count that. 'Cause
Back
that was
then, back then in the 80s, that those 4-on-4 main events, they don't count.
There you go.
Because-
That's a great wrestler right
No,
there.
I don't
Three
want
to-
2K match.
Moff says the Hall of Fame, I guess he means WWE, is not prestigious at all anymore. Yeah,
When
it's kind of
Snoop
lost.
Dogg is in there.
I've said before, the only
You could argue when was it ever?
Yeah, you could argue if it was ever the like I've told people, there's only really like few
I'd agree with Cindy.
What did Snoop Dogg do to get in there?
He appeared randomly and just said, "Holla, holla, holla." I think he said. That's all he did. Oh my God, Nia Jackson in a bikini. Can we move that picture, please?
That I had to
Didn't you do
finally
this one
caught my
already?
attention.
I thought you did that already.
I don't think
This one,
I
like I
But
said,
yeah, you were going on about the
is
Hall of Fame.
is
You were
Cindy
going on about the Hall
Lauper.
of Fame.
I,
Yep.
for celebrity wing because of if the rock and roll connection, MTV, all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the few that I think even WWE fans would say I agree with. The second one for me, and this is kind of more
That
of a
is
homer
terrible.
thing, just because I'm a baseball fan, is Pete Rose, But then let's remember, he's been tombstoned by Kane multiple times and actually took the stink face from Rikishi. So I'm like, at least he actually did something to get in there, unlike Drew Carey and some of these other guys. At
Oh,
least
wait.
Pete Rose,
Drew Carey was in the Royal Rumble.
yeah, but he didn't get physically harmed or touched. At least Pete Rose actually
Yeah,
took a
but he was in
beating.
the Rumble.
Yeah, he wasn't. Okay.
How many of those people? How many of those uh, Entertainment Wing Hall of Famers ever participated in a match?
William
Not
the
many.
Refrigerator Perry, I know, but he's not even remembered for the thing with Big John Studd. Bob
And
Uecker,
the
that
Battle
one I
Royal that
kind
he
of.
was in.
Well, yeah, that's the one I meant. That was him, the Big John Studd thing when Big John Studd eliminated him. And then William's like, "Oh, I'll shake your hand, you were the better man," and then he just William pulls him out.
Did she really wear that Money in the Bank?
Yes, she did. She dressed up like
Bob
a
Uecker,
bumblebee. She looked. A
Bob
lot of
Uecker's.
people liked her attire.
Bob Uecker's one of the ones that everyone disputes, but I'm like, he does have, every time they show WrestleMania highlight clips, it's always him getting choked out by Andre, so I'm like, he's got to be remembered for something, I guess.
Euchre appeared on multiple
Yeah, Manias.
WrestleManias. I think it was 4, 5, and 6, and he was always interviewing
And he was
people.
at
So
WrestleMania 3
by
for
that
like one or
factor,
two
you could
matches.
put him in there.
Yeah, and I actually have no problem with him being in. I actually said, his makes sense. I can defend him. I can defend William I can defend Pete Rose. I can defend Cyndi Lauper, which, those four, I think anyone can be like, okay, those four make sense for what they did. I'm trying to figure out who. Snoop Dogg had no business being in there. I'm like, what the fuck did Snoop Dogg do? I'm like, at least
Nothing.
you
He
could.
just appeared.
I'm like, at least
He
with
didn't
Kid
even have
Rock,
an
you
interview.
could say
He just showed up.
he sang at a few pay-per-views. You could say, Motorhead sang at pay-per-views. I'm like, I would believe them more than Snoop Dogg.
Oh, don't worry. Motorhead's gonna go in this year. Don't worry. I'm sure
I know
Motorhead's
Motorhead's gonna go in for all the 50 billion Triple H songs.
There you go. There you go, Doug and Fire Ninja. Fire Ninja's next signing, Steven Seagal.
Oh God.
God, no.
We're gonna have Steven Seagal versus Jean-Claude Van Damme in the battle of bad karate.
Ironically, I passed by
And Hillbilly Jim, why all of a sudden, how did he get skipped?
I don't know how he got in
Yeah,
either.
I think that's the most recent one.
I mean, I'm like, I don't hate Hillbilly
Did they
Jim.
just forget he wasn't inducted?
If I'm being
serious match right there.
What? Carmelo?
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm planning for Survivor Series. I'm still trying to finish doing my booking for SmackDown. I'm not sure about Survivor Series. We might even buy all of Survivor Series. We might even bow out.
Well, Survivor Series has a long way to go.
I know because I'm honest, me and Fidens, we discussed a lot of the Hall of Fame this past year, and there was some people I was very pissed about going in, and then there were others like I can see going in and why.
I know who you want, Heartless. You want the One Warrior Nation version.
Of what?
And I'll be back. Yeah.
He's not coming back.
But because you bumped Crush up earlier, I actually didn't hate Crush. I didn't think he was that great either, but his size and everything was impressive.
Well, he worked stiff, right? So
Yeah, he worked
when you
stiff.
look,
There's
when
a
you
lot
talk
of
about a
people.
guy who's big and like Hoss-like, to me, I think of guys who worked stiff.
And that's why I said Vader, because there's a lot of people, depending on who asks,
Oh,
have said Vader.
Vader worked stiff too. Go ask Mick Foley.
Oh yeah, as Mick Foley said, Vader could, depending on what mood Vader was in, either you're going to get the Vader who is going to be nice to you, or you're going to get Vader who was pissed off at everybody, and he's going to take it out on you.
No, I didn't mind Vader.
I didn't mind Vader either, but then yet again, I was a Vader nut.
I really liked. My problem with Vader is two things. One, they changed his name after a month after being in WCW.
Yeah.
Two, they got rid of his mask.
Yeah, the mask.
Three, they got rid of his headset. He had a headset and a mask.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people always bring up, oh, he got beat by a power slam by Ron Simmons. Okay, but yeah, Simmons had that for a month. And then Simmons disappeared, you know, like... And people always are like, oh, Rock's the first black champion. No, Ron Simmons is the first black heavyweight champion.
Yeah, that is true. Moth says, I know this question is annoying, but with Fire Ninja, and I know most likely you don't, but we'll use your words, be streamed tonight.
No, I don't know. I have no clue on the status of use your words. But there's a possibility that SmackDown will be streamed. And I know you don't watch the current product, but let me get your feelings on some things.
I
okay?
don't watch WWE religiously, but use you and somebody, I think usually the last time I had to actually watch a full WWE pay-per-view, somebody paid me a $20 PSN card to watch it with them and review it, and I'm like, you're going to regret that. But I took the $20 card anyway.
So here's what I want to run past you. So I don't know if you're familiar with the club reformed with AJ and Gallows and Anderson as heels.
I did hear that.
I'm fine with that. That works better than two baby faces feuding over the U.S. title. It's fine. Drake Maverick and R-Truth is the running comedy gag. That's fine for what it is, it's comedy. But I think I heard before I left that you were talking about Baron Corbin and Becky Lynch. Now you're saying that Corbin should tap out to Becky?
I said that if they just want to continue his burial, since...
No, I don't think they should do that because they already did it on Raw, and the fact that they did that on Raw tells me that it's going to be Corbin pinning Becky.
I will say that, because, you know, a lot of people have wanted my opinion about that. And, you know, I will say, I know this is not the first time they've done a mixed tag team match for titles. I do remember Beth Phoenix and Santino winning the IC and Women's title respectively many SummerSlams ago, back when Mickie James and Kofi had it. But the difference between that and this match that's taking place in Extreme Rules, that one was more I could deal with because it was a comedy thing with Santino and Beth. It wasn't taken all seriously. Plus, Beth and Mickie James did okay, and Kofi and Santino did good for their part of it. But the match at Extreme Rules, I'm like, because I know Leslie's not cashed in his briefcase, correct? He still, I don't know if he has or not.
He still has it. Well, he might cash it in. We don't know what their plans are. Now that Heyman is somewhat overseeing the Raw
I did hear
brand,
that.
if you will, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a higher percentage. It doesn't mean there's a lower percentage. It just means it's still up in the air, depending on what dates Brock has. What I would honestly like to see is what dates he has, because granted, one of his dates may fall on a pay-per-view, but that doesn't mean he has to work. It just means he has to appear. So he could come out and just walk out to the ring and then walk back if he wanted to. Or he could be backstage doing an interview.
Correct.
And he gets paid for that appearance. It all depends on the structure of his contract. Because I think they booked it for re-signing. It was last year. So, depends on how the...
I agree with that. Because here's my thing with that match.
So then what happens if he cashes in mid-match? Does that become like a handicap match?
That's my thing, because, you know, if he cashes in mid...
Is it three-team?
Network party error. Hold on, guys. I gotta rejoin the chat party. Sorry about that, but you know, hey, it's 2019 and Sony still can't do anything right.
Sorry, I lost you for a second. What did you say?
Network party error got me. It's 2019. The only thing I could think of, if they do that and he cashes in, I have a feeling that he'll win the heavyweight title, and then since the women's title would change hands, Lesnar would be told, yeah, you get to pick whoever the next women's champion is for Raw, and watch it be Charlotte Flair.
Oh God, I would literally stop watching WWE if they did that. I would literally stop on a dime, never again. I would even take my WWE games and break them in half. I would literally stop.
I mean, as far as for
that would be the straw that broke my camel's back.
AJ and the club reuniting and them being here, I'm actually for that, because we know I grew up with factions in wrestling, and I actually do wish there would be some more factions in WWE. Granted, I know Vince is not a big fan of faction groups. He doesn't really do them that often. I mean, I'm surprised the New Day's has stayed as a group as long as it has, but I think that's because they make so much money in merchandise that Vince is just like, you're making me money, I'm not breaking you up yet.
I don't think he's ever going to break them up.
No, I'd never see them breaking up. If they do, it's only because he wants to give Big E a world title push.
He never will.
No,
he'll never do that.
Yeah, I don't see Big E or Woods ever getting a singles run.
They did. I don't think Vince was impressed with the IC title run that he had.
No, but then I will say, in Big E's defense of his IC title run, Curtis Axel, aka Kurt Hennig's son, he didn't have a good run with the IC belt either. But again, that both of them were just killed with bad booking. Which I've said before, bad booking is the easiest way to kill any title run, because if you're not booking it right or you're booking stupid shit, it ain't gonna work.
Well, there's also that 50% booking is also pretty bad too.
Yeah,
and they love to do that one.
Oh yeah,
if you lose before a pay-per-view, you're gonna win before you're gonna win.
You're gonna win at the pay-per-view.
Why? Why? How does it? What world? I understand gaining heat before a pay-per-view, going into a pay-per-view. You should not fucking win. Non-title or even in a tag match. The way that I grew up, and the proper way to book is, let's say Sting is facing Undertaker. Okay? Let's say hypothetically. Okay? So let's say on SmackDown, going into the pay-per-view, it is Lex Luger and Sting versus the Brothers of Destruction. And, you know, Sting pins the Undertaker, or the Undertaker pins Sting. There's your heat going into the pay-per-view, okay? You do not, and you shouldn't have them interact that often other than the finish and be real quick.
Yeah.
And then you go into the pay-per-view and you're like, oh my god, Sting's got the advantage. Sting or Undertaker's got the advantage going in. Oh my god, you have drama. But if it's a one-on-one, oh, Baron Corbin dropped a house on Braun Strowman. Strowman's gonna win, or Strowman tapped out. Oh, and then Strowman wins at the pay-per-view. How does that make any goddamn sense?
Yeah, I agree. It usually, and this is the one reason I don't like Money in the Bank as much anymore. At least back when they first did it, you didn't know who was going to win. But now the last few ones, it's like, okay, who's ever the last person who's holding the briefcase on the go-home shows, yeah, they're not winning.
Oh, you mean like when they do the whole scramble for the Money in the Bank briefcase thing?
Yeah, on
Yeah,
the
they
go
don't do
home
that
shows.
anymore.
Okay, because I know
They don't do that.
because I think one year was like, oh god, it was like 3 years ago. Miz was the one holding it, and I'm like, okay, he's not winning it. Come to find out, he wasn't even close to winning it.
Yeah, they don't do that scramble going into the event anymore,
Oh,
which
that's
is
good.
fine. That leaves a little more mess. But now how they book is like, oh, Joe Blow Nobody, Joe Blow Nobody, Randy Orton, Joe Blow Nobody, Samoa Joe, Joe Blow Nobody, Braun Strowman, and then oh, somebody gets beaten up. Oh, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Oh, this past one, Money in the Bank. Because here's the thing,
Yeah.
and I think me and Hot, not me and Hotless. Sorry about that. Me and Finance, we talked about that. Because then a few days later, the original plan was leaked. The original plan going into that was that Mustafa Ali was going to win. The original plan was he was going to win because Triple H wanted to build up a new guy. It's like, even if you don't have him successfully cash in, at least we're building up a new guy, anything like that. Build up a new star. The day of the pay-per-view, it's still the same plan. Until the match. Until a few minutes before the match starts. They all tell everyone, hey, Lesnar's here. Lesnar's going to come out at the end of the match and win the briefcase. And I'm like, I bet everyone was pissed. And the only ones who knew about it were Mustafa, because Vince decided even a smaller thing, we're only going to tell Lesnar and Mustafa, since those two would be the ones involved in the final bit. Orton, and they panned the camera at him, and then they panned away, because Orton, you could physically read his mouth saying, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Orton was the most pissed. Apparently Orton went backstage and told Vince that was fucking stupid. You just ruined the pay-per-view. You just ruined the Money in the Bank gimmick. As much as I know a lot of people don't like Orton, I think a lot of people agreed with Orton on that night.
Oh, Orton speaks his mind, and a lot of his points are accurate, regardless of his, as how you feel about him as a worker. But when it comes to mindset, Orton has a brain on his shoulders.
Oh yeah, and I had to agree with him.
He's actually a lot smarter than people give him credit for.
Oh yeah,
but,
definitely.
The thing about Mustafa Ali, you were planning to push him.
I'm back.
Mustafa was originally supposed to face Daniel Bryan at Mania. That was the original plan. Hold on a second.
I said I don't like Orton, and I don't think Heartless say that, but there are a lot of people who do not like Randy Orton because of how he is doing some storylines and some matches. Case in point, the match with Jinder Mahal when he lost the belt, you could physically tell during that entire feud, Randy Orton did not give two shits about that feud. He purposely did not care about those matches.
Why would he, when he was booked to lose pretty much every single time to Jinder Mahal?
Yeah, but that's one of the things Orton usually gets in trouble for, if anything. There's times
Sorry about that, I'm back.
And I know Heartless will agree with me on this. There's times when you can see Orton's match and either be like, A, you can actually see Orton's giving a shit about the match and he's actually going to do well into it and make the guy look good or whatever, win or lose. Or B, he's going to sandbag the match and not give two shits about it.
It all depends on who he's working with. Orton has his own select.
Yeah, like with Jinder Mahal, you could tell Orton did not like being in that program at all. But then on the flip side, when he was feuding with AJ Styles, he loved that program.
Yeah, because AJ made him look good.
Yeah.
Come on.
And he didn't have to carry Jinder Mahal. AJ actually
You're gonna like working with someone who makes you look like a star. I mean, come on, that's why everybody loves Jericho.
Oh, yeah. Jericho would be the first.
That's why everybody loves Jericho. If someone that hates Jericho, it's because Jericho refused to make them look like a star. Look at the one person that still to this day has the biggest beef with Jericho, and he's Bill Goldberg. And you know what Jericho did? Going back to WCW, he even tried to make him. He tried to get Goldberg over. And Bill didn't want to play ball. still did not want to play ball. Like, another example is, look at Bret Hart. When he started that feud with Goldberg, and Goldberg came out and speared him, and he took out the fucking metal thing for when Goldberg knocked himself out by getting spearing Bret with the metal plate there.
Yeah.
That wasn't to make Bret look good, to get Bret over. That was to get Goldberg over. That his spear is so strong that if he hit something metal, it would knock him out. To tell you that, hey, if you get speared by this guy, it's game over. So obviously Bret Hart has to get something to protect himself. Okay? Goldberg didn't like that thing, so he decided to give him a concussion. And I still think that was fucking deliberate to this day.
Yeah.
I'm sure Bret probably forgave him, but I mean, look at Bret. He's never been the same.
No, he hasn't. And I've said before, and this is why I didn't like Bill Goldberg.
Has never been the same.
No, I've never liked Bill Goldberg as a kid. I always thought, and I even said this as a kid, he just looks like a muscle-bound Stone. Yeah, muscle-bound knocked off Austin. I said, you know, and because Goldberg never had a good promo. And Goldberg's best matches, if you want to call them best, I would say maybe 3 stars out of average. The only two I can ever remember in WCW were the ones he was the one against DDP at Halloween Havoc, because DDP actually, and people have said DDP was like Savage to a degree. DDP would want to work out, would already have the entire match written down, you know, in the back, you know, and everything go over.
Why does Moth want to use your words so bad?
Because he wants to puppy play. And the only other one I remember is when he took on Steve Regal, aka William Regal, and Regal made him work for that win. You could tell Regal, and this Regal's like, no, I was told to do that. I was told to give Goldberg like an 8-9 minute match.
I would have to disagree about because I didn't enjoy that one. I would agree with DDP because people never saw the end of that match.
Well, remember the Regal Goldberg match was on Nitro, so it ain't what throw away Nitro.
No, I was talking about the DDP one. No one really saw the finish of that because remember that pay-per-view went off air.
Well, I didn't get to see it either. I didn't get to see it till the next day when they showed it in its entirety on Nitro, which I'm sure that was.
But the other one that someone was able to get a good match out of Goldberg was Sting managed to get a good one out of him, and Raven did.
Yeah, I forget Raven actually did get a good one.
When he won that U.S. title from Raven took him. You know, it was a hardcore match, granted, but Raven, you know, threw everything but the kitchen sink at him. But everybody knew once that spear came out, it was jackhammer, game over. Now it's sad that Goldberg's quote-unquote reputation is tarnished. It'll never be as crisp as it was in WCW. Even if you subtract the heel run with the Megadeth entrance music and his bad appearance cameo co-starring role in Universal Soldier: The Return.
Oh God, I forgot he was in that film.
Well, he wasn't bad in that movie, to be honest.
No, he wasn't
He did
bad.
what he needed to do, but it was bad. The movie as a whole.
Oh yeah, the movie was. You know, because, and I've listened to the Rise, you know, the WC Best of and the Rise and Fall WCW. Arn Anderson even said, you know, if you were booking Goldberg to this guy, if you're eventually going to have him lose, why have him lose like that? But he never truly...
He never recovered from that loss.
He never recovered from that loss. I think if you would have did it better, we didn't help Goldberg's thing in that whole thing. The way he lost, which I'm like, you know, if you were going to book it to where he was going to be feuding and getting the belt back from the NWL, I could understand why they were doing that, but that and then the combination of the finger poke of doom bullshit, and then it ended up being Ric Flair having to take the belt from Hulk Hogan, doing that whole, oh, I'm Ric Flair, I'm the president of WCW storyline, which was...
But okay, but how many companies has Ric Flair been the president of? Because it seems like almost every goddamn company that he's ever been. He was the president of NWA.
Yeah.
He was the president of WCW.
Yep.
He was the president of WWE.
Yep.
F. 2 different runs. He was the president of the WWE company.
Oh, and Heartless, that's the more accurate attire for that time period.
I don't know. You haven't done the share play, so I can't see it.
Oh.
And then of course you had when he was freaking bullshit running TNA with Eric Bischoff and Ric Flair when he was the leader of that group.
I almost forgot. I was just getting to that before Fire Ninja distracted me with bad attire. But yeah, it's like almost every company. Like I bet you if he went to NXT, he would be president of NXT. Right? And
Yeah,
I'm surprised he never was the president of NXT because I could already see the booking of him as the president of NXT. Charlotte wins all titles.
God, yeah. Charlotte would somehow be able to beat Ricochet.
That is a horrible attire. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, but that's more accurate.
Yeah, but he did wear that stupid denim fucking shirt. Even fucking Doug will attest to that. Doug, you remember?
Yeah, he wore that one.
That stupid denim fucking sleeveless shirt.
Yeah, he wore that one.
That blue denim shirt that he wore when he was American Badass.
Taker?
Yeah, he wore that one.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Not the other one. The other one was like a vest type
Show me the other one first. Show me
I
the
do
other one.
remember him wearing that
other
blue
one was.
Venom vest for like a few months into his
Just do a search on
program.
Undertaker.
And I'm not
Wouldn't that be easier?
Velveteen
You don't
Dream has the
remember
North
99
American title.
Undertaker?
Yes, we know that, Martha. I said I think Ricochet had the belt first.
What title? What are we talking
North
about
American
now?
title.
I don't
I was
think he
jokingly
wore-
saying Charlotte, if Flair, when you said if Ric Flair ran NXT, Charlotte would win.
Oh
all
yeah,
the
that
belts.
one's a bad one.
He would have beat
Yeah,
Ricochet
that's
for
what I
the.
was
She would have beat
saying.
Ricochet for the North America. He would have had Charlotte Flair come back and say, Charlotte, you're gonna beat Ricochet for the North American title. Then you're gonna beat Tommaso Ciampa for the World title. Then you're gonna win the tag team titles with Bram.
Don't even bring up Bram.
I know. I try not to because I think he needs to be forgotten for reasons.
If there was ever a time to say you're fired, that's the time. I just thought I'd make that clear.
Why are you looking at 2017 for? You didn't have any good attires in 2017. What the hell is that? No Mercy? Oh, I thought it said 2006. I was gonna say he wasn't even in the company.
I'll have no mercy.
Of course he was in the company in 2006 for that one match.
Yeah, that's right. His tryout match. I remember.
Ah, yes.
Oh wait, what is that? OMB? What is that? OM what?
Phone call.
I have no idea.
What's the
Adam,
initials
I
again?
thought Ricochet had the North American title once. I might have been wrong there.
OMOB. One moment of bliss.
Oh.
Adam, go ahead first.
That's all
I guess.
That's the only thing I could think of. But
Yeah,
the phrase is a moment of bliss.
Well, just remember to do one thing. Give Big Show a moonsault just so we can just laugh.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do that and the shooting star press while I'm at it.
I always like
Are
doing
you gonna
that.
do it? Are you gonna do it as good as Brock Lesnar?
Hey, if you look up Brock Lesnar doing the shooting star press, other than that WrestleMania, he nailed it. Looked fucking insane. When he did at Mania, that was a fucking mistake. You should have never listened to the boys in the back who told him to do it. That was his own fucking fault. He should have never listened to it.
Yeah, he should have never. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I'm not saying for him never to do it ever. I'm just saying that night he should not have done it because he should have seen. He's seen how far he was. What the hell was that?
Yeah.
Was that Renee Young?
Yeah.
Hair is almost accurate. I don't know if I could ever picture her wearing Tomb Raider gear.
People just like to see that ass.
Hey, look, it's Lana.
Yeah,
With the
Lana.
misspelled her. Yeah, it's also misspelled.
They spelled her name wrong. Fucking assholes.
Don't you just love when people do
did I
that?
end up getting Tanara? Did I end up signing Tanara? I never
No.
wanted to. I don't think we ended up finding a good one.
You never... I don't think you ever asked me to look her up.
I probably couldn't remember how to spell her, but yeah, spell over. She's gonna end up feuding with what's her face? The next takeover. Last I heard is the next plan is her going after the women's title.
Shayna Baszler?
No, Baszler's supposed to drop it at the most upcoming one. She's supposed she's supposed to get the next one. Io was supposed to win because she's turned heel now. Which I don't understand. They turned her heel to beat up Candice LeRae.
What the hell is that?
That is apparently the new gimmick, but I think that's a custom job.
I don't know if we're discussing boobs now or discussing how people dress.
Eric Young.
We're talking about Eric Young's custom attire.
Yeah.
Prior to that, we're just talking about bad model,
Does
bad
he still wrestle?
attire.
Cause shoot, man, I know he was in WWE, but I haven't heard anything since.
He got beat with a chair by...
Please tell me they don't.
That was at the end.
Please tell me they don't have him in the 24/7 thing.
No, they have him as one of Shane's lackeys.
No, it wasn't even that.
Yeah, he was. He was one of Shane's lackey, and so was the B team.
Was really?
Yeah, that's Shane McMahon has a whole bunch of lackeys. He's got the B team. He has whatever members of Sanity they're on the upper roster. He has the Revival. He has Drew McIntyre and
Galloway,
sometimes Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley.
And how could we forget Elias?
Oh, and of course Elias, yeah.
Who wants to walk with the ultimate jobber?
Hey, I like Elias.
I have Elias, and I like the gimmick too.
I like Elias.
Just you know, they job him to everyone.
He's
Yeah.
bad in the ring though. I think they missed the boat. They should have made him the IC. Did they end up making him the IC champ? I know he was in a feud for the title, but I don't think they.
Yeah, I don't think they did either.
Yeah, I know he won the. I know he's been 24/7 champion once or twice.
Twice.
Yeah, but that's not a real title. I'm sorry. As much as people like that title, it's not a real title. Like, no one's gonna go and look up in the history books and go like, "You're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame for winning the 24/7 title 50 times." R-Truth. No.
R-Truth will probably be the one who actually gets in for that, unfortunately.
Well, he's had other titles, but I mean, I still don't see that.
Yes,
like, if he were to retire, if he were to like retire this year, I would say, okay, just retire him so we never see him again, or induct him so we never see him again. Get it done this year. Don't wait 5 years down after they retire. Just do it this year. But because they don't want him lingering around backstage.
You want Byron Saxton?
No, I don't want Byron Saxton. I hated Byron Saxton as a wrestler. Let alone, and he's even worse as a commentator.
I know.
You know, and Carmella kind of ruined Corey Graves for me now. Because I was a big fan of his commentary. Now every time I hear him talk, I hear him like undressing Carmella on the. You ever hear that shit? Like he's talking like so proud, like there's a tone when he talks about Carmella. I'm like, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of when he used to give Elias grief when Elias came out. Now he doesn't even give Elias grief anymore.
No, he does not.
He's like neutral.
You know what? I'm gonna ask another question because we talked about favorite big guys or house wrestlers, types like that. Who is your favorite wrestler to ever use a guitar as their main weapon of choice or their main character gimmick?
As a main weapon of choice?
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett, Honky Tonk Man, New Jack, or Elias. Because those are the only four I can think of who use the guitar the most.
Elias. Doug, I know who yours is right off the bat.
Who?
I don't
know.
New Jack.
Fuck you, fine ninja.
I'm gonna go. Although New Jack was pretty entertaining when he did the guitar shots, I probably would have to say with those four, I'd probably have to say probably a Honky Tonk Man.
I'm cool. I'm cocky. I'm bad for me. You know he never drew
a
dime. I gotta go with Double J.
Yeah. kind of figured that one. I just want to say New Jack so you get angry.
I was never a big Jeff Jarrett fan. I'm not discrediting his ring work because I never said he was a bad wrestler. Just never, something about it just never resonated with me.
Kind of a greedy wrestler.
At least with New Jack, you could say he had his high spots, but then he always ended up selling. You know, even though they were his match, he always ended up losing. And 98% of the time, he would lose in those scaffold matches, fall and almost die in a match, and he would still.
Oh, you mean like that one where he went blind because of that?
Yeah, yeah, and he still lost. Like,
Yeah.
you know. But
oh, did you ever see the rematch between New Jack and Jack Ritchie? Well, it was. I think it was like. It wasn't an ECW. They decided to do a part 2 to this. I think it was like Combat Zone Wrestling. They're like, okay, we're gonna have you guys on a big ass freaking what is it? Scaffold above the ring. We're gonna have millions of tables in the ring. You have to throw your opponent off the scaffold and through tables. And someone's like, Doug, you have to watch this because it's sheer stupidity in the ending. I'm like, why do I have a feeling I'm going to get angry because somebody's probably going to nearly die? Lo and behold, Jack Ritchie almost fucking dies.
Don't you have Mr. McMahon?
With the hair?
Who knows?
How do they do that with the hair?
Oh, who took my combos away? I didn't want my combos to disappear.
I think we lost Fire Ninja.
We always lose Fire Ninja. It's a fact of life.
Heartless, the perfect Mr. McMahon gimmick since you have him.
Mr. McDonald?
And Mop
No,
said easily
no.
Elias.
Yeah. Because Elias as a character works, it's just...
The only reason I can't...
Up 2 pages.
See, the only reason I can't say
Yeah,
Elias
that
yet is because I want to see more of it. I want to see him
That
do
one.
more. I mean, with Honky Tonk Man, because I know that's who Heartless picked. I can that I can understand because he was like longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. I think he was like the first one to actually use the guitar as a weapon. I'd like to
It
see
was
him.
nice that they did that. It was nice that they did that with Jeff Jarrett when they inducted him. They had Elias go like, and then had Elias beat him up, and they're like, "I've been compared to this asshole for my whole career." I like that.
Yeah.
But go down one more page. One more. That green one. How the hell did they do that with the hair?
That?
Because it looks like the same character model but different hair. How the hell did they do that?
For which one?
The one on the right. The green.
That one?
Yeah, how did they do the hair?
I have no idea.
Is that one of the manager models, I guess, with a ponytail? Is that whatever it is? Oh my god, green hair? Really, Stephanie Man? No. Stop it.
Somebody stop the brutality.
From last year's game? It was like the worst game model.
Yeah. Since we're at the part of the video and I did say I'd do this, it's time to do my 5 best and worst fatalities in Mortal Kombat 11. Since I've seen them all.
Are the worst. All of them.
No.
I just saved you a whole lot of time, Dad.
Fire Ninja will probably do his. How I'm going to do this, I'm going to start off, I'm going to go from best to worst. So we're going to start with the 5th best and then the 5th worst. So to start off, we're going to go with the number 5th best, which, believe it or not, is Shang Tsung.
As the best?
As the 5th best.
This Kataro.
And we're going to do all these to
One's great.
Devore. Because Devore, as in death, I'm gonna treat her the same. She did the same thing to me as when she's in death, when she was alive, pissing me the fuck off. Slap nuts.
Devora.
I don't think
What?
she said that.
I was saying Jeff Jarrett's slap nut gimmick, and we're gonna do this at the tournament arena since that is my #1 arena. The rockabilly gimmick's the only thing I think about when I think of the Honky Tonk Man. Oh God, rock! Come on out here, rockabilly! Woo, rockabilly! Is it sad I got that song on cassette for some reason?
Finish her.
No.
Alright, and to do this one, you have to be in the middle and you do this. So here comes number 5.
Did someone just legit put a black man in a Black Panther outfit? And people call me racist for not liking Black Panther.
I never watched Black Panther. Because Black Panther as a hero is boring to me.
Fatality. Shang Tsung wins.
I didn't like him in the comics because he was boring. And I don't like him in, and I didn't like him in Civil War.
I didn't like him in the comics because he was the king and he was rich and he just decided to wear a mask.
He was just a black Batman.
No, he wasn't.
But
Batman,
without... No, let me...
Batman
let
has
me-
at least a story arc. He has no
That
story.
I was gonna say... in design alone and richness.
Alright, and now...
Because
for
he
the-
originally had a cape, too.
Now for the 5th worst. We're actually going to Centurion.
Cetrion.
That's gotta be the worst Rey Mysterio I've ever seen.
Kotal Khan.
Like I said,
Where-
we're going to keep
Total
beating
off one.
up Devore.
Oh, no.
Tournament.
That is...
Really, really bad.
Really? They put a Sin Cara attire on him?
Sin Cara.
And just
Sin
added
Cara.
gloves? That's quality right there. I don't know what you're talking about.
It just worked, I guess.
Yeah, it just works. They're both luchadors. They put the Rey Mysterio things on him.
The same problem.
He was my 5th worst fatality. This one, I just don't like just because of the fact of...
What is that?
I don't know.
It's a little bit
I'm
of...
not dealing with.
Cetrion.
It tries to do too much with her, and I get that she's an elder god, but I just never did like this one. I always just thought, eh, she's an elder god. You could have done so much more with her. But the reason it's at number 5, because I can at least say it's still staying with her characters, you know, her being all nature and stuff. Granted, she becomes as big as the freaking planet.
Can I just say Chronicas because it's boring?
Well, that one I can't do. I can't add to the list because of the fact of you can't actually use her, so she's not going to be on the list.
But you can still see her.
You can,
Fatality.
yeah, if you lose in arcade mode, but since I can't physically do it, I'm not going to count it. Number 4 best, and believe it or not, we're going to Frost.
Devora.
Which I'm sure
You're
that
going
might...
best to worst? I thought
I'm
you were
going-
doing worse than best.
No, I'm going best to worst. I'm doing things differently. I'm not going to be like everyone else who goes best to worst. So for the 4th best, and I know this might surprise Fire Ninja, because Fire Ninja knows I hate Frost with a passion, but
Finish her.
there is one...
That is terrible.
I do like her one fatality.
The one that's not fatality.
The one that, after thinking about it, is actually kind of effed up, because even though you technically die, you become a slave.
You do not die.
Fatality. Frost wins.
And that's kind of effed up, because it's like,
Doug, no. You do not die.
you technically...
Your brain is still intact. It is put into a cybernetic body. You don't have control over your body anymore, but you're not dead.
Actually, they
It's not
prove
a
that...
fatality.
Can I say something to that argument? If you read the comic books, they have said, once the Lin Kuei takes your brain and puts in the robotic suit, Excluding for Cyrax and Sector, everyone else is considered dead as their soul went to the great beyond.
Cyber Sub-Zero. Smoke.
Smoke and Cyber Sub-Zero, because I believe when I read the comic book, Cyber Sub-Zero, once Cyber Sub-Zero was destroyed, he was dead a second time because then he became a
He was destroyed.
demon. And remember, Cyber Smoke doesn't count anymore. He doesn't exist in this timeline. So Cyber Smoke does not count. But that one's kind of after, because you're technically all dead because you don't have a physical body and your soul is gone, but your brain is now being used by
But
the
you do
liquid,
have a physical body.
I am not. Are you going to argue Ammons that a robotic outfit is the same as a organ body?
I didn't set a physical body. That is a physical body.
I wouldn't consider a robotic outfit a physical body, but
It exists on the physical plane, Doug. Therefore, it is a physical body.
to me, a physical body means skin. Robotic body means
An
you're
organic
a robot.
body is skin.
Yeah, a robot's not
And
an
flesh,
organic physical
and
flesh body.
You didn't say organic, you said physical.
Yeah, when most people hear the word physical, they think skin, organs.
No.
It's the same argument you had with me at the beginning of the video when joke is not the same as trash.
Because it's not.
Fine Ninja always has to be the one who has to do the opposite of everything. Next up for the fourth worst.
How is that the opposite of everything?
Because I guarantee you, if I told somebody what
If it was the same thing, it would be.
consider
They
a
would have the
robotic
exact.
body a physical, I guarantee you most people would say no. Because they would be like, it has to have skin and organs.
Doug. Words have definitions for a reason.
And yet, though, they always change the words of those definitions every year. They always keep changing the dictionary every year. Now, the fourth one I had a hard time
Yeah,
choosing
but definitions tend to stay similar to what they were.
more or less, they do and don't. But for the fourth one worst, we have to go to Liu Kang.
Devora.
But we'll kill Devora again.
Tournament.
So they have mankind as a choice for like one of the things you could pick, but they don't have do love.
Now,
Do they have Cactus
personally,
Jack? No.
while I like
Don't
Liu
they have Nick
Kang's
Foley?
brutalities,
No. Mankind.
and there's one fatality
Mickey
I
James.
don't mind of him,
Like you
Which
have
is-
one face of Foley for choice.
but unfortunately the one I'm about to show you is the one I do not like. Ones I can actually remember how to punch it in. There we
Are
go.
there any other wrestlers that... Did you ever figure out which one you were...
Oh, next guys? No. I need to go over my roster to see
Kang wins.
who
Flawless.
needs to be updated.
So I
mean,
can
you
see
do
where
that
they
with
pay
mine.
homage a bit to Liu Kang's first fatality in Mortal
Hey,
Kombat 1. It's just... I'm kind of disappointed that this one or the other one don't really bring out the dragon, since that's the one he's remembered for.
That was not the first one, though.
No, remember the first one, he was the backflip and all that crap. I said it pays homage to the first one a bit.
Oh, wait. That's customs. It's not gonna...
For the third best, we actually go to Fine Ninja's favorite female character in the game, Scarlet.
You say Charlotte?
No, Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Oh, I thought you said Charlotte.
Devora.
God, no.
And I think anybody
You know
who
the
knows,
easiest way to go to
knows
bed
me
is
knows
to go
which
to,
one this is, because I mentioned
show.
before when we did the Let's Take a Look at Mortal Kombat 11 when the demo came out. This
Well, I
was the
think
one I
it
was
was
doing the
just-
most in the demo.
Go into it like that.
No, I meant to look at. Oh, yeah, then go to roster. Yeah.
Which means I won't get to see Mine. Unless they do
Oh,
all.
except for your women. Your women are still.
Now this one I like because
Sure,
she actually
here.
gives you a freaking heart
Who's the
attack.
tag party?
And the heart blows up
think
from the
so.
inside.
So let's see who needs to be updated here. Maybe a better Becky.
Flawless victory.
Go back to Billy Kay real quick.
And now time for the third worst one. This is when I really can't defend characters as much.
Ray maybe.
Where
If
is...
you're doing Christian with Edge, you're probably gonna need an entire that.
As much as I love the character, the third worst one goes
Matches
to
that.
Kano.
Devora. Tournament.
And I've said before in many streams that this was not one of my favorite fatalities just because it's stupid.
Finish her.
Owens, if you really want the shirt they has now.
Lacey.
Let me see.
Did I do one for you? Did we do one for you? I can't remember.
No.
Now, the reason I hate Kano's fatality here, the last dance, Kano's had some of
Does
the...
Morgan have one?
Oh, she has her pink hair.
Kano's had some of the more creative fatalities in the history of Mortal
No,
Kombat,
fix
you know,
that, though.
between whipping hearts
they're
out
making it-
and ripping skeletons out. But to go from being able to rip people's hearts out and whole skeletons to, I'm just going to drink a bottle of beer, break the beer bottle, shove
Like
it in your neck,
Norris.
and dance with you is pathetic.
Done it.
That's accurate. It's accurate as I was saying. He never did anything with his attire.
Thought he did.
No, just slight off colors.
And now
Nah,
time
yeah.
for the second best fatality.
Miller, probably.
Didn't how did I get Nick Miller?
Jax.
Now I know somebody's like,
Because I didn't take TM61, I just took Shane Thorne.
where's Noob, Saibot, and Raiden? Because I'm sure everyone's expecting me to have them on this list for best. Believe it or not, you know, I do love both of their fatalities. They're not as quite as remembered as the ones who got the second best and first best in my eyes.
Pain Royce needs one.
For the second best, we're going to use the Kofi variation for Jax.
Hard truth.
Devora.
You probably want a better attire for Savage, I would assume.
Savage.
And of course, this one, if you've seen me play as Jax before, this is the one I love doing with Jax. Because it makes
Oh,
me,
yeah.
because it makes me think of baseball.
But who does he have with it?
Huh?
Who's this? I just like how the allies work and then because I don't.
Oh.
Home run by Jax.
His enemy, The Rock. His ally, The Rock.
Yeah, you gotta fix that one. 'Cause you end up having
I have a
few down the
feeling-
road.
But you don't have that one.
When
I know,
Fine,
but if they'll show up on one of the multi-brand ones.
when Fine Ninja does his 5
Oh.
best and worst fatalities, all this will be completely different. I think the only one we may have both on that list is probably Scarlet on the top 5 best.
Yeah, because I don't consider what Frost does is killing.
I don't like Frost's other one. The other one, I'm just like, it just feels like a knockoff of Sub-Zero's.
Yeah, you have Sean Spears.
But this one, the Jack one, this is my favorite one for Jack so far as well. Because since we all know I do love baseball, I do like the fact he decides to go play baseball with a character's head. And it gives me hope that maybe if he was a real person, we could sign him to the Baltimore Orioles and we could actually maybe win a freaking championship again. But to the second worst, and for this one, as much as I
You
hate...
want the One Warrior Nation attire for that one?
I might need a new attire, but I don't know about the One Warrior Nation one.
Come on, you have the Outsiders.
That's because I have the Outsiders doesn't mean they go together.
Because right now I'm messing with you guys. What could be the worst second one? I
Alright,
have
give
to
me a
go
second. I'm gonna
with
go to the bathroom real quick.
Casey Cage, and you'll see which one I give her as the second one in a minute. But we're going to use the Genesis variation.
Maybe while I'm gone, can you do an edit to one of the secondary attire to Damien Sandow to like an import of like the Miz's attire, so it's like Mizdow.
Why do you want this
Because that was
stuff?
one of his gimmicks.
Finish her!
I know it was one of his gimmicks.
Yeah, it should only take you 2 seconds anyway. You just import from the in-game character like the Miz. I think not the most recent one. I think it's the old Miz if it's still in the game. I don't know if it is. If not, just do the basic one, but I'll be back. I probably have options.
Okay, this one's
Well,
going to
you
be a
probably
little bit harder to do than I
the
thought,
more
since it
recent
doesn't
one
really
is.
want to... I'm trying to do Casey Cage's second one.
Finish her!
There we go. For some reason, you know, I was in the mid. Yeah, unlike the one where she does the destroys your whole heart and she puts her does the heart symbol with her hands, which that one I kind of find creative. This one I just kind of find like I'm just gonna shoot you in the chest and then kick you so hard in the dick or vagina your skeleton pops out. You know, not really creative, and what's really weird, and you know, the other two for Casey in the last game, I actually enjoyed both of them. You know, because it played to her character. The second fatality for on this one doesn't really play to her character, you know, what her character is. It's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna shoot you, then kick you in the dick or vagina so hard your skeleton pops up. Not really creative. You know, I would have liked to seen something maybe with the little android that's flying around that she has with her. They could have did so much more with her overall.
I have to disagree. I feel like that fits with her character quite a bit.
Well, I think the other one she does fits with her character more because it's more to her goofy side. That one doesn't really fit to her goofy side. Now time for the best and worst one. And which one should we do? The best fatality overall, or end it with, or start with the worst and then end with the best? Normally, we're gonna end with the best one. So we're gonna actually go to the worst fatality on my top 5 list. Which, with that being said, I want to see if anyone can guess who it's going to be.
John Cena.
No, John Cena's not in the game.
Are you sure?
I am sure we are actually going to go with Katana on this one, folks.
Devora.
I'm going to kill Devora again because, like I said, she's my least favorite character on the Mortal Kombat 11 game. She should be thankful that her fatality saved her from not being in the top 5 worst.
Devora.
As much as I hate the character, I actually like both of her fatalities.
Finish her!
I don't.
I at least like them enough to where they're not going to be in the top 5 worst. If I was doing a top 10 worst, probably. Now for this one, while I like the Gornado, which is actually kind of creative, you know, because you know how Katana's fans work and everything. Her other one, Warrior Execution. I was really kind of disappointed with.
Fatality.
I mean,
Katana wins.
well, it pretty much is. It's like if you have 2 Kung Lao hats, pretty much. You know, and compared to her other fatalities from older games, I'd probably say this is one of her weakest ones as well. Plus, it's not really remember. At least the Gornator, there's, you know, the character's still suffering the whole time while they're doing it. This one's kind of like, yeah, they're already dead after the first part of the fatality, so anything after that's like overkill. Which I know that's the point of Mortal Kombat, but And now to my best one, which I know a lot of people are surprised it's not going to be Noob, Cybot, or Raiden, since I use those religiously, but we are actually going to Johnny Cage.
Yeah, and you like one more than the other, which I had to disagree with you on.
For which one?
You prefer the Mr. Rogers like one. I know that. I prefer the other one.
You prefer the one with the uppercut repeatedly, right?
Uh-huh.
See, the only reason which Finding Jody gave away which one I'm going to be doing, Mr. Cage's Neighborhood. The only reason, but don't get me wrong, I love the uppercut one, but I've seen him do the uppercut so many times, you know.
Yeah, but that's why that one's funny.
It really tore me up.
Because it keeps messing up.
Well, yeah,
You see
I know,
him do it
but
so many times.
I've seen him do the uppercut thing in other games. That's why I'm like, I'm numb to it probably, because I've seen him do 3 uppercuts in a row in Mortal Kombat 2 and other games. It's like, I get why they did it, you know, and I do like the humor in it, breaking the fourth wall, but I feel with this one's more funnier, more personal to his character, where, you know, where he's being funny. Well, the other one's funny too. This one I think does more of a better job of being funny and breaking the fourth wall overall. Where with the uppercut, I'm like, yeah, that's paying homage to the ones who grew up playing Mortal Kombat 2 and knew the trick of having to do the knock off 3 heads in a row on the opponent gimmick. But that is my top 5 best and worst. I know Fire Ninja. Let's see. Moff says the poor Devore and Devore's life does matter.
No, she doesn't.
No. I don't know who Fire Ninja is going to use respectively to do the fatalities for his top 5 and best worst. I don't know. That will be up to him. And I already know our list will probably be different. We're probably not going to have the same fatalities. We may not even have the same characters. The only one I think I know we're going to have on that list together, at least character-wise, is Scarlet. That's like the only one I think we're going to have the same on the best side.
Character-wise?
Yeah, because remember, I went with... Well, you can see who I went with. Just watch it back. Shang Tsung, Frost, Scarlet, Jax, and Johnny Cage for the best.
See, I have to agree with more than one character with that. Probably different order.
Probably different order, and we may not even have the same fatality depending on who the character is. Because we know why I picked Scarlet's
probably
heart
will
attack.
do honorable mentions.
See, honorable mention for me, if I had to do one, it would probably be Noob, Cybot, and Raidens. But that's because I do them so much. I'm like,
You're conditioned to them.
I'm conditioned to them, yeah, so it's really not like I'm gonna... And that's the one thing I would say in general. Online, I've noticed most characters most people don't go for the fatalities. I do because, hey, I like doing them. But that's my 5 best and worst. Now, with that being said, and now, should I do my endings tonight or do them tomorrow?
Do them another time.
Yeah, I would do the endings tomorrow. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I'd recommend probably when I get to that part of the stream, do not watch it, just because of the fact that I do not want you to be ruined by the game. Now, the reason the endings took me a little while longer was because I did want to see if Shang Tsung's ending was important enough. I know the other DLC characters have not been released yet. When they are released, I will be looking at their fatalities and endings in video, and I will discuss with you, do I think they belong on the best side or the worst side, respectively. But until then, I do wish everyone a happy good evening, and I'll see you next time.